It's pretty clear that Beijing has decided that it's really going to dig in and is preparing for what could be quite a protracted conflict here. Trump and in fact both sides have said they're open to negotiation, but there is virtually no sign at all that they're getting anywhere near even preliminary talks, even polite conversations, never mind actually substantive discussions. So this really could drag on for a while. It may still escalate further, and the consequences for the global economy could be pretty profound. If growth really slows in the US and in China, that has knock-on effects for pretty much every other country in the world. China's been retaliating, and it's been retaliating consistently and hard. So every time the US has raised tariffs, China has come back pretty quickly with tariffs of its own. There's an asymmetric aspect to the Chinese response, so they are also doing things like tightening export controls of critical minerals. The other day they decided to reduce the number of Hollywood movies that they were going to show in China. So they're trying to find ways to put a bit of pressure on Trump outside of just raising tariffs. President Xi is due to visit Vietnam and a couple of other Asian countries next week. And the idea here is China wants to try to boost trade with other parts of the world to offset what is going to be a pretty tough trading relationship with the United States. But one of the difficulties is that even before Trump got back in the White House, there was a lot of anxiety over Chinese imports to do with overcapacity in certain industries. The European Union put anti-dumping tariffs on electric vehicles, for instance. A bunch of countries pushed back against huge volumes of Chinese steel exports. The idea that China will easily be able to find other markets to offload all the stuff that it can't sell to the US doesn't look very likely. That doesn't mean they're out of options. Their other sort of strategy will be to really try and pep up the domestic economy, and we may see some direct help to households to spend directly. So US importers will face quite a lot of pain with these tariffs. Prices for stuff being imported from China are basically double what they were 6 weeks ago. So for small businesses in particular, and we've been speaking to a lot of them, this is really getting very difficult. Some are having to cancel orders. Some that we've spoken to are really worried whether they're even going to be able to survive, the next 6 months to a year. Some are talking about laying off staff. Some are talking about, desperately trying to find other suppliers in other parts of the world for the bits and pieces that they need. So it is going to be pretty difficult, I think, particularly if your supply chain runs through China, and so much of the global supply chain does.